Hey everybody, welcome to GeekStorm. My name's Sean Hilton, and today I'm joined by my associate, Mr. Michael Allen Harrison, who I've known for so long.
Don't touch me.
Makes me see, just having him next to me makes me feel more secure.
Saying don't touch implies don't rub.
On GeekStorm, we're going to be discussing Nathan Fillion in his role in an Uncharted fan film. Walt Disney clears the way for a clear shot at Fox, as well as announcing some information about their streaming service and some of the content. Even bigger news in streaming content, Warner Brothers gives us a huge preview of their upcoming title, as well as some price points, plus a few other tidbits that we think you're going to enjoy. Mike, for you, what is the biggest thing of the week? Let's just kick it off with Mike's choice.
And it's kind of a passive thing. It's kind of it's not like a blockbuster news, but Comcast pulling out of the Disney Fox deal to me it's good news. I'm glad they didn't get a hold of it, not just because I want to see those characters come back and all that. I get that, but I don't want Comcast, who's notoriously bad at everything, to get a hold of something that I like.
Yeah, that's inviting, I don't know, somebody really nasty and dirty that nobody likes to a menage, and they're just in the middle of it, and you're just like, why? What was the point? Why did you do it? This could have been a beautiful experience. And yet that's what you did. So
yeah,
they're just nothing about them. Now maybe it's just the industry and the whole cable cutting situation, with Comcast obviously being a huge cable provider, and we're living in a digital era now where people are trying to get away from corded television, cable lines, and just Comcast in general has business practices, honestly, that make somebody from the Better Business Bureau just take their head every Monday and just start slamming it into a table.
And I know I'm oversimplifying here, but let's say Comcast wins. We get it. Let's sign the thing. Okay. Now what do? We got to go out and hire a bunch of people that know how to make stuff, because we don't know how to make stuff. All we know how is to build people and not really give them what we told them we were going to give them. So that's not going to work out. Disney has a machine already in place.
Yeah.
It's the best machine on the planet.
It's crazy.
It's much better. And then you add in the bonus. Yeah, I want to see all the Marvel heroes together.
No, we have all that together. We still have a few things outlying, because I don't believe that includes Incredible Hulk. He's over with Universal or somebody like
Incredible
that.
Hulk movie standalone.
Exactly.
Correct.
And then Namor, somebody's also
That's
a little
still,
weird.
Until he actually comes out, we won't know what the deal is. They don't tell us what deals are.
Something weird's going on with that
it's
one.
It's like the Hulk deal. You can't make a Namor movie yet.
And Sony seems to be still playing ball with Spidey. So,
they are pushing forward on this whole Spider-Verse thing. They want to make a...
Just, again, makes me wonder what's going on over there. So you got some interesting news there.
Sure.
Big money dollars.
Right.
Disney acquires them. They take over another huge percentage of the entertainment market while still losing some things. That's the thing with acquiring Fox. Everybody needs to know is that they don't acquire everything. Like the news divisions, the sports divisions, they're not getting into that.
Things we don't care about.
But Disney knows none of that makes any money anyway, so none of that really matters to them. Plus, they have their own entities in place. However, what this does do is it gives them such a large portion of the entertainment world. The next big acquisition may not be able to happen just straight up due to monopolies at this point.
I don't know what else they would want.
Government might. Universal.
What else would they want? Oh, maybe.
Universal, those monsters. I mean, they've tried again and again to make it work, and it hasn't. But there's some interesting stuff there. So big dollars are going to be on the table. But even with it being clear, that still, I believe, there was a lawsuit in place just a week ago by one of the major shareholders, saying that the deal wasn't being represented equitably in a correct manner, that the numbers weren't adding up. So even though it's cleared of Comcast getting out of the way, there still has to be a vote of the shareholders.
Correct.
And there's at least and I won't be surprised if this was one of those Netflix television shows where Comcast went to a few shareholders, wined them, dined them, offered them some crazy deals, regardless how it went, to say, you know what, be a roadblock. Be a very loud roadblock. But
maybe.
So we'll see. It's not a done deal yet. Something else could happen. I believe they've cleared the way. The government has cleared the way in saying we are going to allow it as long as you divest yourself of these other entities.
Right.
Things are looking pretty good on that. Also then, related to Star Wars, is the announcement of Clone Wars. Dave Filoni at San Diego Comic-Con. So San Diego Comic-Con's going on right now, which means news is dropping like, I don't know,
things that drop.
turkeys from a helicopter at Thanksgiving.
As God is my witness, I thought they could fly.
So with that going on, everybody who's had a secret is now finally able to unload and let the world know. They went to a great Dave Filoni, what do they call it? Speaking engagement panel. Thank you. Where the fans weren't told what was going on. Just something about that. He starts off with, for like 5 years now, we've heard people saying they didn't get a finish to Clone Wars. There's a hashtag out there saying, save Clone Wars, finish Clone Wars, stuff like that. So he goes, you know what, here's kind of our answer, and it's just a thing, pops up with all the trooper helmets and troopers, and an old voiceover of Rex, who's like one of the big troopers, and just doing one of his old monologues, and eventually it breaks into new material, shows just a little bit of a hint of what's about to happen, and then ends with a hashtag like Clone Wars saved, finally, or something like that.
I was not a huge Clone Wars fan. I know a lot of people love it, including yourself.
I'm a huge fan.
But it's one of those things, it's like Doctor Who in that I've tried it like 3 times. And each time I get a little bit farther, but it just hasn't really caught on for me. I know there's a lot of content, and some of it's great, and some of it's not. So at some point, I'll go back and rewatch the whole thing. But I'm happy for the people that really love it. I mean, that's something that there's nothing like feeling recognized and feeling like they listened to me finally, even though they never heard your voice ever in their lives. That you feel like this is the thing I wanted. Oh, X-Files came back. Oh, that's awesome. I can't be happier. And that's the way it is for people like yourself.
I think the Clone Wars probably for you is going to be a lot like Buffy season 4 for a lot of people, where you've got a lot of real junk in there, but you've got so many just hidden in the mix, real gems you got to pick out. First movie in the first season, the animation was catching up. By the second season, they bring in a new animation guy who really pushes them forward and the look of it and how they do things. So we're checking out. But big deals, they're bringing it back. It's going to be 12 episodes exclusive on the Disney streaming content.
Right.
So,
which is a great business move by them.
It is, but you got, WWE did it several years ago. You've had CBS do it last year as kind of the first real big name and push their Star Trek Discovery on it.
Right.
This year you're going to see Warner Brothers and Disney both getting in on the action with all new original content. Star Wars being obviously the big one, and then the second big one for Disney also being another Star Wars live action. So lots of interesting things going on there. We haven't been told a price point yet for jumping into their particular digital package or how they're going to do it.
Disney's
we have not heard yet.
Right.
So excited to hear about that. Then that leads us into Warner Brothers digital content. Did anybody see the Titans trailer?
Yes.
Titans trailer, Mike?
Here's the thing. I really feel like it's so easy to kick people that are down, and that I'm not going to be an apologist for the show because we've seen exactly a minute and a half of it. But if it was like all the other CW shows, who can, then what's different about it? It's just a different set of young characters. If it was like the movies, dark and gritty and sad, then people are going to be upset about that because they didn't like the movies. I don't think Warner Brothers can win right now. I honestly don't think Warner Brothers can win in any way with properties that have been knocked in the dirt for so long. Okay, so the trailer. I don't know why.
You said it's a minute and a half.
Yeah, it's a minute and a half, and it's very dark, and it's basically you see a good look at like 3 characters maybe, mostly Dick Grayson. Is it Dick Grayson?
I believe
Are we seeing
so.
Dick Grayson? Okay.
We're running the impression it's Dick Grayson.
Okay, so here's my problem. If you're gonna make
Flying Graysons are mentioned. They show him. They mention him being the circus boy.
If you're gonna make Dick Grayson Robin, make Dick Grayson Robin. If you're gonna make the Red Hood or Jason Todd Robin, make that one, but don't mix the two. Okay, there's no reason to have a dirty, gritty, angsty Dick Grayson. Pick your poison on that one. I'll watch it. I'll see how it goes, but I'm not thrilled about it. I'm not excited about it.
You said it's very dark. You have the thing with Robin is you have so many incarnations of that character that you can choose from.
Right.
You have a more modern version. You've got a mean, angsty version. You've got the traditional Dick Grayson version. So by going with this version and making him something that the character's never been before, you know what? They're reinventing him. They're taking him. Now, I will say that a couple months ago, we saw some still images of some of the other characters, including Beast Boy, Raven, and Starfire. And those images were so bad of them just on the street, even with like normal coats over their costumes, that people were gnashing their teeth like feral animals. The Dick Grayson costume that we saw, just talking about the costumes, looked really good. The changeling green skin makeup and whatnot, Beast Boy, looked pretty good. Raven, in costume with her eyes glowing and doing stuff, looked pretty good. Starfire, still on the fence about. Not so sure about their Starfire.
If the Starfire in the show is like the Starfire we saw in the trailer, all glowy and stuff like that all the time,
has budget.
That'd be pretty cool. But
Holy
there's
cow.
no way they'll do it.
There's just no budget for it.
No.
So it's just going to be her in like some orange hair thing, looking a little weird. The ones that I really, really enjoyed, you only saw a couple of seconds. Like, I don't even know if you saw full seconds of. You saw Hawk and Dove, and their costumes from the little bit you saw looked great. Here's the call: one of them's dead. No spoiler. We haven't read the scripts. That's the history of Hawk and Dove. One of them's going to die, and with this being such a dark show, they're going to kill one of these characters, and it's going to be one of them. That's my call, and I'm going to call it now.
So let's talk about that for a second. It tells you right off the bat it's a TV mature.
Yeah, MA. It starts off with MA.
Okay. So there's cursing, there's killing, there's shooting, there's blood. Okay. So my problem with that necessarily is I don't know that you have to make. Okay, rated R and hard stuff is the big deal right now because of Logan and because of Deadpool 1 and 2 and their success. But I don't think those characters lend to that, you know?
No.
They don't. I mean, Deadpool and Logan, yeah, that's their thing. They need to be brutal and bloody and raw. But these characters don't need to be that way.
The Titans characters, now, they've had great emotional-driven stories.
Right.
They've had some mature stories, but never to this level that we're seeing, not with this kind of animosity. And let's hope that the whole big meme thing where Robin comes out and curses Batman's name and then guns down at people, let's hope that's some kind of weird flashback, post-traumatic stress dream of some sort. Because if that's really what actually happens in character, then I don't know how that even continues on. That doesn't make any sense to me. You've got to see the trailer. It is worth seeing.
And this is, we don't have spoilers because we've never seen it. All we've seen is the trailer. But it looks like Dick is a cop or something like that. He's given up being Robin, and Dark, what's her face? Raven comes to him and asks for help, and that might get him back into the life. So maybe those,
and call him Nightwing.
Maybe those things are flashbacks to when he was, the reason he quit, because he knew he was, having a bad attitude or whatever.
Sure.
Either way, the showrunners are in a tough spot because they can't put out more CW stuff. They've seen that before, and I don't know that people want to see more CW
bubblegum superheroes.
But so how do you put yourself out there as far as being a different type of show? Then this is a way to go.
It's a way to go, but you're not necessarily. And I'm not saying they're not producing quality. We have not seen it yet.
Right.
But this seems like instead of having to produce quality, we will produce something different and shocking, and we will hope that the audience will gravitate towards it.
And they may.
And you're not going to get kids to watch it. You just put the MA on it. Right. The one that's I'm wrong.
Kids will watch it.
Kids will watch because their parents will let them. Right. That's just the way it'll work.
Or they'll find a way.
Life
finds a way.
Cable finds a way. So there's interesting stuff. Even on bigger news, though, besides the cool little trailer coming out, they announced their pricing structure, and it's out there. So you get a full year of the Warner Brothers television with original content, cartoons, and other add-ins, which I don't think, everybody's like, oh, it's so much material. I don't think for a Netflix professional binge watcher that there's that much material.
Depends on what they get.
There's like 4 or 5 months of material for somebody who's an active cord-cutting, I only watch this kind of consumer. I don't think there's more than 5 or 6 months at most. But the pricing is coming out. It's $74.99 for a full year. With that full year, you get rumored, I've not read this yet, but rumored is an additional 3 months. So you'll get it for an early adopter, paid in advance, you'll get 15 months for $75.
But if you pay monthly, you get just the
$8.
Okay.
So $8 a month, and also an online digital comic library is supposed to be coming with it as well. That part could be interesting. I have obviously, I've a vested interest in not seeing digital comics do anything more than a feeder system into real comics.
Right.
I have yet to read a comic on a digital apparatus that I thought felt right.
It's tough. I like it, but it's tough.
Yeah, I don't like having to look at panel per panel like that. I like being able to see the whole thing. It doesn't feel. It just to me, again, I own divesting. I own a comic book store, so.
Yeah.
But
I think unless you have a tablet, like one of the really larger tablets,
Yeah.
it's just tough to be constantly moving around, and I don't like it.
And a new generation of reader might be growing up with it, and because they are growing up with it, just like our very first comic, you're like, how do I read the panels? How do I flow?
Yeah.
That stuff. They're learning how to do it their way, and might be more enjoyable. But I think that's with those two streaming services added in, you'll have a WWE, a CBS, a Walt Disney,
a lot.
and a Warner Brothers all doing streaming service. So it should be interesting. We'll see what they come up with.
Well, for years and years and years, we've said, why do I have to have HGTV on my cable? Why do I have to have whatever?
I want to pick my package.
I want to pick my package, and that's what they're doing. You're being able to pick those things, which is awesome. I'm a less than casual WWE fan, but I'm not going to pay for it. But I was paying for it on cable because it's on twice a week on cable.
It still is.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't have to pay for that. So diversity is awesome in your ability to be able to pick the things you want. I just don't know who could survive. Could an HGTV survive on its own? Have an HGTV channel?
I don't know.
So I don't think so.
But again, that's the law. You either buy it or you don't,
Right.
and people are going to vote for their dollars.
Yeah.
I can tell you that yes, HGTV is going to survive because every day that I go home, my wife is watching two idiot brothers talk to people about
Sure.
buying and selling a house.
Sure.
And some couple.
Did you see that meme?
Trying to fix a house and another trying to sell their house or something.
You see the HTV the meme for that, and it was a couple, a young couple, and it said she works at a part-time daycare, and he raises salamanders. Our budget is $1.3 million.
Yes.
Who are these people?
It's crazy. Every time I walk in and hear the budget, it's like, where are they at and what are they doing? It's just nuts. So, yeah, you got some of that going on. So, on another track now, and please follow with this because this one I'm going to get a little loud about.
Oh boy.
Apologize in advance.
Go ahead.
We're living in a world right now where for the last several months, I have finally grown up and become adult enough to be able to say, enjoy your fandom. Meaning it doesn't matter whether I like what you like, as long as what you like doesn't disturb other people in some really emotional level or is forced upon them, enjoy it. If you're a cosplayer and you want to cosplay, you cosplay. Don't apologize for it. Enjoy your fandom. Do it. If you love comic books, you want to read comic books, enjoy your fandom. Do it. When your fandom gets to a point where you feel a desire or a need to reach out and threaten someone's life, it's time that your fandom has gone too far, that you're a problem, and you must be stopped. And this mob mentality that's coming out of these situations where people are banding together and in almost dark ages like we're going to overthrow the feudal government has got to stop. Just recently, Tom King, the writer of Batman number 50, after DC for months has built up the big wedding, with issue 50 being the wedding between Batman and Catwoman. Spoiler, Batman at the very end is left jilted at the altar. Catwoman is talked by one of her best friends into leaving Batman, in her mind for good reasons, because it comes down to her friend convincing her Bruce Wayne can only be Batman because Batman is miserable. And because Bruce Wayne is miserable. If Bruce Wayne was happy and content with Catwoman, he would cease to be an effective Batman, and therefore she is hurting the world. So in her mind, being mentally manipulated, Catwoman being mentally manipulated, so that's something to discuss right there. But regardless, she leaves him. So the weeks, 20 issues, the advertisements that went into this, actual little wedding invitations that went out as the flyers, ends in a big which was disappointing, but is also comic books. It's a story, and it was told. Tom King isn't the one that came up with the promotional effort for it, but regardless of all of that, it was a comic book, and people are threatening his life to the point where San Diego Comic-Con and DC have provided him with an actual bodyguard to protect this man during San Diego Comic-Con. And he's not the only one. This is fandom taken to a point where it's just become ridiculous. You are a bad person. You are a garbage human being. If what it takes to make you happy in life is to go on the internet and threaten someone's life because you don't like the fact that Batman 50 didn't end the way you liked it. You don't like the fact that Force Awakens didn't end the way you like it. You don't like that Luke Skywalker didn't joyfully jump up and down like a Japanese scroll girl in an anime because he's got his lightsaber back, which, get over it. Any opinion other than...
I'll go back to Dennis Miller back in the probably mid-90s or so. He did a bit in which he was talking about, they were talking about rock and roll and how it affects people, kids, and violence and stuff like that. And he said, if your kid is so messed up that he is affected by anything that Gene Simmons has to say, he has a problem anyway, okay? So this type of thing is just a public, not symptom, but showing of somebody really needing to have, I hate this can. I hate this can, but right now I'm the only one that really cares about this can. But if I can get the rest of you to hate this can also, then we have a thing. We have a thing going on, and it feeds my psychosis. And you're absolutely right. These people are, the people that are so extreme like that, the people that have felt like they needed to push the actors out of Star Wars,
Sure.
getting off of social media and things like that. Those people, they get a bump of adrenaline, they get a bump of whatever by feeling like they've accomplished something. By, there are guys that are like, what we did and what we said about Tim King is so awesome. They had to get a bodyguard. I did that.
I think
that
it's Tom King.
Tim King. Tom
Is it
King.
Tim?
Tom
I think
King.
it's Tom.
Tom King. Whatever. It's Mr. King to you. So they got a rush out of that, and so you're right. They're broken. But what are you going to do?
I'm going to call him out on it.
Well,
I'm going to mark this episode, whatever episode of GeekStorm this is.
205.
I am coining.
206.
I am coining a term. I am coining a derogatory term aimed at these people.
What are they called?
And I want it to be known. These are. Ready?
It better be good.
Okay.
You built it up like a wedding.
You are Jonestown warriors. From now on,
Warriors.
that is what you are. You are a fake messiah in the middle of a morass jungle that are eventually going to lead people to a horrible doom for nothing other than your own fetish nature of needing something that the world just doesn't need. We've had social justice warriors. That's a derogatory term for them.
Which it shouldn't
be. I don't disagree. I'm just saying that it is used in that manner. You've got right-wing wingnuts or something like that. I mean, that was not so bad. So I'm going with Jonestown warriors.
It's not bad. It's a little clunky. It's not bad.
For those in the know, though, I think it'll have impact. So,
You mean those of us who are 50 to remember Jonestown?
I'm only 45, and I still think I think I sold my Jonestown commemorative card set.
What?
But you have to let things go. What did you say?
Nice. We actually just watched
It was grape Flavor Aid, sir. I will tell you not to besmirch the good name of Kool-Aid.
We watched the documentary again for like the second time. I don't know why we watched this documentary twice, but we have, and watched it again like last week on that whole deal.
It's just interesting. Yeah. It's just an interesting state of affairs. Also related to Batman 50, because of all of the uproar, DC has announced that the issue itself will be returnable. Well, Comics Cubed, Diamond Account 3280, last number going to be left off there, can tell you we won't be returning a single copy
You have 10 tries.
We already sold out. They're all gone. There ain't none left. I wish I had a few more to keep selling.
All right.
So,
Sure.
Last week we broached the subject of Nathan Fillion dropping.
We did
some cryptic hints about Nathan Drake and Uncharted and what was going to happen with that. And then Monday we got the payoff, and it was a 15-minute fan-made movie.
Before you get into it, were you disappointed that it wasn't like a real movie announcement?
Was I disappointed? No.
I'm not saying disappointed in what you saw, but in its quality. I'm just saying, oh, it's a fan thing. Were you like that, or were you hoping that it was, Fox is behind this and we're gonna make it? That type of thing?
Because I didn't expect that that was what it was.
Oh, okay.
I
really did.
I didn't think it was because the way he did it was just so clunky.
Okay. With
the whole picture of Drake and the quote, it just didn't make any sense that if this was going to be a big-time movie reveal.
You think maybe that would have been like an SDCC thing?
Yes.
Okay.
That's a Tom Holland kind of thing, mistakey thing. That's not a Nathan Fillion thing to do it that way.
Okay.
So,
right.
No, I wasn't disappointed in that aspect of things. But after watching it, and again, huge fan, We got an interesting fan-made film. It definitely felt like a fan-made film with a bigger, better budget. But I didn't get a sense that this was the Ryan Reynolds Deadpool leak that was going to get this film made. After watching it, I'm like, nope, that was okay. I'm glad I watched it. It wasn't that for me. And but probably the biggest surprise for me was his co-star, as Sully is the gentleman
Stephen Lang.
Stephen Lang, who was he really wanted to be Cable, and I was like, yeah, that'd be great. I'd watch that. And then obviously Josh Brolin just blew that role out of the water and did such an amazing job. But he was really good in that role, so it was nice to see a pairing of not only just, hey, I'm a fan-made film, we got one big actor as our big star, and then the rest of it's all going to be throwaway crap. But it didn't impress me.
The bad guy in that, the one that came walking in,
Yeah.
he's been in some stuff. He's pretty good. If you've never seen Banshee, he did a season in that. He was really good in that.
Be very clear, I liked it. I was hoping to be blown away. I was hoping to have that Deadpool moment where I'm like, holy cow! But it doesn't matter what I think. There's rumblings, there's rumors of a possible web series. I don't know if that's just rumors that are being floated by the people behind this thing, hoping that it'll get some traction and maybe get moved forward. I don't see it being a reality. That action's already been done before in other better movies.
If I own that property, I'm not letting a web series be made.
Oh no, this is a it's a $100 million film that has to happen. We just did a Tomb Raider thing with a much better known property, and it flopped. It did nothing after having rocket crazy 2 or 3 video games behind it in the relaunch. Didn't do any money, didn't do anything at box office. Nobody's talking about that movie. So Nathan Fillion's got a new series coming out, television series. So
what is it?
Rookie.
Oh, that's right.
He's going to be an older cop.
That's right.
That goes to the academy.
That's right.
So I don't see him taking the time to want to do, something like that. Whereas he looked good as Nathan Drake, he still didn't cut the weight. It didn't really look like. They hit it fairly well.
He's thinner than he was towards the end of Castle, I'll say that.
Yeah. This is a fat guy. I'm not trying to fat shame anybody.
No, but he's got to do action. He's got to do action.
Yeah,
you can see the stunt cuts.
He has got to be holding onto a mountain by like 4 fingers and swaying and doing. I will give him this. They did several Nathan Drake-isms. They did some good stuff. And towards the end, you finally saw a video game shot. Throughout the thing, you're getting good characterization. You're not getting video game in your face. At the very end, he jumps off of something, he punches somebody, and the way he throws his body out is very much straight out of the video game.
That's a Superman punch.
So it looked really good. His costuming looked really good. The whole thing, I was really happy with it as an Uncharted fan. But as somebody that wanted this to propel a $120 million movie, I didn't see that come out of it. A $120 movie, I'll back that out.
I think
you
just saw a
$120
movie.
Yeah, well, I think this is probably a $100,000 movie.
Yeah, they put some money into it for sure.
And I want to know who had the trucks. In the very beginning, if you watch it, like 2 SUVs roll up. I think they were called Discoveries.
Yeah.
And whoever those 2 were, they funded a bunch of that movie.
Yeah.
I guarantee they were some major, major backers of this film. So you've got a list every week. It looks like we've actually cut through the list fairly naturally for once, but you have one last thing. We've got a couple minutes left. So let's knock out the last thing on your list, man.
Just last week there was a first kind of a teaser trailer about Doctor Who, about the new season, about the new Doctor and everything, and it was very, very quick, just a lot of character shots, and then you see Jodie Whittaker at the end. Then I guess, and I haven't seen, but I guess there was a second one that just got released. But to me, the more, and I can't speak about it because I haven't seen it, but the more interesting stuff coming out of San Diego right now is the fact that they're talking about, they're not calling it a reboot, relaunch, anything like that, but they're not, with this new Doctor, and you've got a new showrunner, they're not going to touch any of the history of the Doctor necessarily. I mean, he's still still the Doctor is what they were, but we're not going to see Daleks, we're not going to see the Master, we're not going to see any of that stuff. They said they're only a couple weeks away from wrapping up shooting for the season, and they haven't used a single character from the history of Doctor Who other than the Doctor.
I think when we see new showrunners come on, they want to play with the toys. They want to. This is my first Dalek episode, and I want to do something really, really good with my Dalek.
Right.
This is my first Cyberman episode. I want to, and they go through the laundry list of all these great characters.
Right.
And the first time that Davies got to bring him back in, it was all pretty monumental.
Yeah.
We went through the second with Moffat, and he introduced a few new characters like the Weeping Angels, and did a really good job. And then when he touched on some of the classics, he could really pull it off.
Right.
Well, by this point, we're to the point where ratings have slagged a little. We're all used to it. You, who've never watched Doctor Who before now, know what a Dalek is.
Right.
There's no surprise for you anymore about that. The Dalekisms and stuff isn't going to be like, the episode where the Daleks and the Cybermen faced each other, and I heard a Dalek go, "You're superior to us in one way," and that's dying.
Mm-hmm.
My little Doctor Who heart was like, "Oh, that's the greatest thing ever," and he's right.
You do have a little heart.
It's true. One day it'll grow 10 times its size and I will die. So I'm excited to see that. I like the fact that they're not going right back to the well, but it's a fine rope. It's one of those things where, yes, don't keep relying on the same old,
Right.
but on the other hand, don't deny yourself a tool in the toolbox
Right.
just so you can say I made this entire house without using a nail.
Right.
One of those deals. It's like, yeah, you did it.
Right.
I don't know that I want to live in your house, but
I'll tell you, just what we've seen, production looks fantastic. Looks like they spent a lot more money this season than they did last season, and it's also not the first time they've done this too. I guess Mike knows this is something I read, that the first color season, when they first went color on Doctor Who, they went 2 seasons without using any of the old stuff.
Okay.
So everything was new for 2 seasons. So it's not the first time. And if they make it interesting, it's like anything. It's like Titans. If they make it interesting, if they make it watchable, if they make a connection between you and the characters, people will come back and watch it. So we'll see.
Exciting. All right, well, that's just about it. We got one last minute. We're going to be, the producer and myself have got a new endeavor going on. There'll be a new Kickstarter coming up out of Kokomo starting next Thursday about gaming. So give us your money. We want it. Thank you. Till then, this is GeekStorm. Be groovy.